St. Kitts and Nevis has not fallen short when it comes to nurturing medical professionals. Many of them are out creating a vibrant presence in the diaspora. Today, we will be speaking to one such individual who has already made her mark in the profession, having already been awarded the distinction of Fellow of the American College of Physicians in 2016, an accolade that acknowledges her contributions to medicine and her broader community. We welcome her to Good Morning SKN, Dr. Marijka Grey, a national of the Federation who is currently residing in Tennessee, USA. Good morning, Dr. Grey, and once again, welcome to Good Morning SKN.
Good morning, Hortensia and Jamie. Thank you for having me.
It is indeed our pleasure. So, Dr. Grey, you are currently the System VP for Ambulatory Transformation and Innovation of CHI Memorial Medical Group. What does that involve?
Oh, it's a little bit of everything. So in my role here at CHI Memorial and its parent company, Common Spirit Health, I work on transforming clinical practice. So we really work on making the day of the patients, the staff, and the physicians who work with them a lot easier. So we have about 142 hospitals and 1,200 ambulatory sites, and I work across our 21 states with our doctors and our administrators all across the U.S. On different ways to use technology, changing workflows, and changing processes to help with the patients and with the doctors.
Oh, well, that's an incredible job.
Yeah, I know.
Indeed. Tell us what it's like taking the lead on the rollout of telehealth across multiple sites during the COVID-19 pandemic.
Oh, well, that was interesting because I literally remember the day when the pandemic started, or at least we were officially declared a pandemic, because my team was traveling in Kentucky and they could not visit a clinic because we thought there possibly could be a COVID positive patient there. And so most of my team is based in California and Arizona, so they flew back. And from then on, we were grounded for about 2 years. So at the start of the pandemic, it was clear that we could not bring patients into the office, but we needed still to reach them. So our technical teams started working immediately to find a vendor that could support an organization as large as ourselves. And we came up with a contract with Zoom, and then it was up to myself, my team, and a great group of doctors from around the country to really pull together the workflows to make that happen. So within 3 weeks, we had the entire organization back up and running using telehealth. And we found that to be a great resource for our patients. So even though the pandemic is still here, but the world has opened back up again to a certain extent, we're still using telehealth for a lot of our visits, representing about 8% of our income overall, because we find that it's a great way not only to reach patients who are near, but to reach patients who are far as well.
Absolutely.
Dr. Grey, if we did not have a pandemic, do you think telehealth was something that the healthcare field was moving towards? So
I think for the U.S., the healthcare field was always moving towards it, but in the U.S., we're heavily governed by how we're paid. So unfortunately, before the pandemic, we weren't really paid for telehealth. So there was no real appetite to pick it up. Although I have to say the uses for telehealth in remote areas has been really proven. So there's a project called Project Echo, which started in the Southwestern US, which is being duplicated across the US, which gives the ability for specialists who are far away to consult with physicians who are nearby. And I can truly see that being a model that the Caribbean adopts as well.
Absolutely, so can I, indeed. What can you tell us about what it's like having an input in the design of medical centers as well, doctor?
Oh, so that's interesting because, when you come to a doctor's office, I don't know that many people who come willingly. So usually when you show up at a doctor's, you're a little scared. You may get some news you don't want to hear, or most people know that they put off something with their health that they need to pay attention to. So we really want to make it so that patients feel welcome and we calm their nerves when they come in. So we take in all aspects of that design to really make sure that when you walk in the doors, you feel welcome, you're greeted, and people know you and know who you are, We make sure that when you come into our offices, the chaos of the usual work is not seen, but you just see a calm, pleasant atmosphere. And really that we have the workflow so that when the doctor walks in, they know exactly why you are there. They have all your information. And when we send you on maybe to another appointment or another specialist, that happens seamlessly. So we design the buildings that way so that you can come in, feel welcome, feel rested while you're there, and never feel stressed, which is a little hard to do when it's a doctor's office, but definitely worth it.
Yes, indeed.
Indeed. So as an internist, Dr. Grey, what was the most interesting medical mystery you have solved or assisted in solving?
So I used to practice in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, which is a really small town. So unfortunately, even if I give some details, the patients will probably know who they are. But the one I can share was actually when I first started practicing, I was called to one of our treatment rooms by the nurses, and I walked in, and my fellow physician and partner was standing up, gasping for breath, and asking one of the nurses to pull up some epinephrine. It turned out she had a severe allergic reaction, and we lost her pulse. So she basically died in our exam room, and we had to resuscitate her. And I was in small town Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, which usually every ambulance is about 2 minutes away. But that day they were caught on the highway with another accident. So it took them 10 minutes to get to us. So myself, 2 nurses in my practice spent 10 minutes just trying to keep my partner alive while the ambulance came to bring the rest of the supplies and get her to the hospital to stabilize her heart. So definitely the most memorable.
Indeed, I would say.
Thank you for saving her life.
Yeah, that's scary, but it's also so important. So I think it drives you to continue doing what you do. Is that not right, doctor?
She makes it look easy. She makes it look easy.
So are you still a practicing internist?
I am. I did a year or so where I did not practice. I was mainly administrative, but I really found that I missed practicing medicine, and I like seeing patients. So because of my schedule, I don't do it that much, but I do pop into an office occasionally and just help with that area of the work. I just love that portion of what I do and my training. I figured I trained this long, I might as well use the skills in that way as well.
I love that.
So when you're not practicing, does your patient prescribe that you practice?
So I think the best part about not practicing regularly is that where I practice, they're used to that. So I'm that doctor who comes in on a pinch hitting basis and fills in for the other docs when they're on vacation and so on. So the patients appreciate that there's someone there to see them, late on a Friday afternoon where they may have had to go to an urgent care or maybe even waited out that weekend. And because of that, they're not expecting me to be there on a regular basis.
Nice. So describe climbing the ladder from president of the CHI Memorial Medical Group to your present position.
Well, I had always been involved in transforming care. Ever since I started practicing, my office was always kind of tweaking things to figure out how do we do this better, how do we do that better, and so on. And at that time, I was with a system that was very progressive, that allowed us to really just play to figure out how to make our days better. And what we found that worked, we expanded it to the rest of our doctor's offices in that area. So when I came down to lead CHI Memorial, and as our groups across the country started to get together and start talking, I was meeting with colleagues in Arizona, California, North Dakota, and so on. And we started talking about what we would want to do to make things better. And my passion for this work was evident. So when our companies, we had 2 companies that merged to form one of the largest healthcare companies in the US. And when they merged, I was tapped to move forward to really help the organization shift to the next level. So it was really an ask of the senior leadership. And it was that question for me, whether I wanted to stay locally based at CHI Memorial, where we have this wonderful group of about 250 doctors, or whether I wanted to expand to this national role where I could help about 1,200 sites, about 6,000 doctors. And really the weird thing and great thing about our organization is that we touch 1 in 4 Americans. So the ability to help out on such a massive scale was just too irresistible. I work a lot with healthcare and technology. I get involved with different conferences and so on who want to know a doctor's perspective. But I think I was joking over the break that my aunt is Jazzy D at ZIZ. So from since I was knee high to a tadpole, I was at ZIZ near the radio. And my dad, Vincent Grey, was one of the engineers there. So very used to talking, very used to being in public. And I also have to give a shout out to Dr. Gavin Hamilton, who is an internist in San Francisco. And he and I used to debate on a regular basis and won the St. Kitts debating championship when we were like 12.
Wow.
So I think that set the ground for my public speaking from there on.
Good stuff, good stuff. So there is a position that you presently hold that enables you to lobby on behalf of your community and meet with policymakers. Tell us about that.
Yes, so I am president of the Chattanooga Hamilton Medical Society for this year. So it is our local medical society that basically represents all of our physicians in the area. And one of the things that we do as part of that role is that we meet with legislators within Tennessee, and we talk about the issues that are important to physicians within the state of Tennessee, because just as in St. Kitts, the government sets the regulations around the physicians in terms of their scope of practice and what is and isn't allowed. In the US, it's the same thing with the states. The state legislatures are actually the ones who ultimately set the rules for what physicians can or cannot do. So my team and I we go out as doctors on a regular basis to the Hill in Tennessee and talk to those legislators about what's important to us.
Lovely. Thank you for that.
It's not all work as a doctor, because we understand that you are a creative at heart as well, right? We know that you left your mark at university, and we're going to ask you to tell us about that as well.
Yeah, so those who know me from St. Kitts know that I did a lot of artwork when I was in St. Kitts. I was very amused. We were joking earlier. I was back home from a music festival, and I went up to Brimstone Hill, and the logo I designed is still there. It didn't give me a discount on admission, but it's still there. And I danced as well. So I danced with the Vivace Dance Company when I was in St. Kitts. And when I went off to college, we started a dance company there called the Dark Arts Performing Dance Company that's still in existence. It's 25 years later, and we still have a group of young ladies who do all sorts of dance, tap, modern, jazz, and Caribbean. So I like to think that I've left my mark that way. And I have to say, I learned how to play pan during the summers in St. Kitts with pan SKN. And over the pandemic, I got myself a steel pan because I was like, if I'm going to be home, I might as well relearn how to play my favorite instrument. So I can occasionally be heard pounding out some tunes in the evenings.
All right. What's your favorite song to play?
Oh, that's a good question. Probably anything Bob Marley, because it really just kind of sets the tone and calms me down.
Oh,
great.
nice. Nice. Well, congratulations on everything that you would have accomplished, because you sure have accomplished a lot. Now, I would like to say, or boast, and say, I spoke to the person that did that logo. Can you tell me what logo is that I'm looking for when I go to Brimstone Hill?
Oh, it's the Brimstone Hill logo that's on all their correspondence, on the product itself. Yeah.
Okay, well, viewers, I did speak to that person. So I'm going to boast now. I'm going to start boasting now. So how do you balance work life and family life?
Oh, I have a very supportive husband. So I think,
sweet.
So much of this work cannot be done without having someone who really supports you in all you do. And we have two amazing children, and he's the one who keeps the home fires burning. And not only that, but he's become a really decent West Indian chef. So I had oxtail this weekend, compliments of him with rice and peas. I just need to get him to get the curry goat right there, and then we're good to go.
That's sweet. That is so sweet.
Oh, that is so funny.
So yes, having a little bit of home at home makes a huge difference.
Lovely,
that is so funny. You know, I realize that you and I have something else in common, Doctor. The fact that at this year's St. Kitts Music Festival, we were looking forward to the same artist. I'm going to let everyone know who that artist was.
Oh, definitely Nadia Batson. She is amazing. I think her music is wonderful. Her writing skills are beyond par, and frankly, she's a great performer. So I truly enjoyed her, and she was definitely my favorite one of the show.
Aw, and Jamie's face is pink as ever. I can't wait for you to see this interview to see what I'm talking about, Dr. Gray. Every time her name is mentioned, Jamie just lights up, and he has a flushed
She
pink
is that
face.
good, but it's not about me, Cortez. Let's go back to Dr. Gray.
So, Dr. Gray, we know you recently visited the Federation, but how else do you maintain your connections with SinkKids?
Oh, well, I have friends and family, of course. They're in the islands. I try to keep in touch as much as possible with what's happening. And everybody knows WhatsApp is the best way to keep in contact. And my sister and I had the pleasure of donating actually some stretchers to the ambulance department about a month ago, because we thought it was really important for us to contribute to help with the healthcare on the island itself. So that was one small way that we kind of reached out and gave back.
Thank you, and we appreciate that.
Definitely too.
Me too.
Doctor, it's been such a pleasure talking with
Indeed,
you, getting to know you, getting to know what you have been doing. You know, shout out to your husband for me, because I figure sooner than later he's going to be making you, I don't know, can he make you black pudding? Is that going to be on the list? We're going to see. I'm going to put it out there. That might be a tall order, but you tell him by this time next year.
You're giving the guy, you're giving him hard work now. Oh, man.
Oh, but definitely our
I
pleasure.
think he might check union rules on that one.